On January 22nd, 2018, DeMarcus Cousins had a legendary 44-point, 24-rebound, and 10-assist performance in a double overtime victory against the Chicago Bulls, the first 40-20-10 stat line since Kareem Abdul-Jabbar did it in the 70s, and this game was nothing out of the ordinary for a prime Cousins. That season, Boogie's averages of 25, 13, and 5 made it arguable that he was the NBA's most complete player. That year's MVP voting results featured the likes of LeBron James, James Harden, Damian Lillard, Giannis, Kevin Durant, and Steph Curry atop the list. Notice how this group of players are still the faces of the NBA to this day. They've barely even regressed, while DeMarcus Cousins seems to be going on a desperate job hunt every few months. Why? To explain this, we have to start in the 2017 through 18 NBA season. Cousins is currently in his second year with the Pelicans and is producing numbers that will be good enough to earn himself his fourth All-Star selection. But on January 26, 2018, just 4 days after his 40-point triple-double, Cousins finds himself scoring a clutch putback layup with only 15 seconds remaining in a game against the Rockets that will end up determining his entire future. After Cousins puts the ball up and in, the whistle sounds. It's an and one. Cousins shoots the ball arcs, hits the rim, and holy shit, he's dead. Despite only playing 29 minutes in this game, Cousins yet again achieved a triple-double. However, Cousins' injury would later be diagnosed as a torn left Achilles, and only 9 days after his 40-point triple-double, Boogie would undergo season-ending surgery and never play a full NBA season ever again. And this injury came at the worst possible time, a contract year. Whether it be in the draft or in free agency, teams are always hesitant to sign injured players no matter how good they are. It was clear that DeMarcus's big payday would have to wait, as 2019 would have to be a season of redemption. After being ruled out for 357 days, Cousins returned to the hardwood in an environment he had simply never been in before, the stacked Golden State Warriors. For a man who had always been on teams that were absolute booty cheeks, it was difficult to compare Cousins' mediocre numbers of 16, 8, and 4 with the Golden State Warriors to the numbers he was dropping in Sacramento, while accompanied alongside star-studded rosters highlighted by Jason Thompson, Francisco Garcia, and Jimmer Fredette. What really ended up killing Cousins wasn't necessarily this one singular injury, but it was the onslaught of injuries that would follow. In Game 2 of Round 1 of the 2019 playoffs, the man suffered a torn left quad. Then, right before the start of the next season, he tore his left ACL in a now infamous pickup game that would end his short-lived stint with the Lakers before it had even started. That's now 3 major injuries to the left side of Cousins' body in 3 years. I guess you could say something about his left side just isn't right. However, a perfect opportunity for redemption arose when Cousins was signed by the Houston Rockets in 2020. Houston was a shell of what it once was, and with Harden already having 1 foot out of the door, the team was about to undergo a rebuilding stage that would allow Cousins ample opportunity to prove himself as a star once again. But when he took to the court, something just seemed off. Boogie was always extremely slow, but now he was even slower, and at the worst time too. While he could once body Karl Anthony Towns when he attempted to battle him down low, now Cat simply shot 3 balls in his face or drove past him, and Cousins had no way to adjust. His body simply wouldn't let him. This modified version of Boogie also highlighted all the bad parts of his game: the lack of defense, defense, constant fouling, constant turnovers, and attitude could barely be tolerated even when he was a triple-double machine. But when you're only putting up 10 points, well, all that stuff goes from simply frustrating to unacceptable. His lack of effort and now completely diminished jumping ability also caused his opponents to shoot an amazing 64% from within 6 feet of the rim when being guarded by him, and his offense could no longer excuse such lackluster defense. Here's the thing, Cousins has always been a guy that can put up big numbers in minimal playing time, and he definitely did this with Houston as well. Cousins' stat lines in his prime are up there with the likes of Giannis, LeBron, and really no one else can compare. And yet, everybody knew that Boogie was never really on that kind of level. While the phrase empty stats is opposed by many other YouTubers and even NBA fans alike, everybody, even back in 2017, knew that KD's 25, 8, and 5 was better than Boogie's 27, 11, and 5. For God's sake, not even Hakeem freaking Olajuwon ever had a 27, 11, and 5 season. Those numbers are unheard of, but we all understood that these stats had at least some elements of emptiness to them. In the season of DeMarcus Cousins' devastating Achilles tear, the Pelicans went 27 and 21 in the games Cousins was available, and 21 and 13 in the games he was injured for. There's barely even a difference. Then the team would go on their iconic sweep of the Blazers in the playoffs, playing their best basketball of the season without DeMarcus Cousins. Of course, you can get away with stat padding on a team like the Kings that are desperate simply to watch any semblance of semi-entertaining basketball. But even in New Orleans, while Cousins was still healthy, people were beginning to quickly turn on the team's twin tower duo that had once been expected to rival the legendary duo of Tim Duncan and David Robinson. Look, I'm rooting for Boogie, and nobody can deny that he can definitely still get buckets. Even though he royally fucked up in the 2020 playoffs with his dumbass free throw, it was refreshing just to see him in the game, playing meaningful basketball and showing sparks of his old self in games like Game 5 of the conference finals, in which he had 15 points in 11 minutes. Both Steve Kerr and Tyronn Lue have also praised an aging Boogie for his passing ability, and even still to this day, Cousins remains one of the best passing bigs in the league. Even with all the struggles and injuries DeMarcus Cousins has had, put this man on a shitty team and play him 40 minutes a night, and he'll probably still give you 20, 10, and 5. But the man he's defending will put up wilt numbers. The entire opposing team will be driving to the rim with ease all game. Cousins will eventually foul out, end up with a turnover amount in the triple digits, and then proceed to tear every ligament in his body. The gamble you play with Cousins is the same it has always been, with extreme benefits and extreme negatives, except the benefits become just a little bit less prominent and the negatives are amplified just a little bit more with every debilitating injury this man suffers, which at this point tend to happen pretty much every other week. I've been a fan of DeMarcus Cousins for his unique playstyle and elite talent ever since his days in Sacramento. So at the end of the day, I just want to see this man succeed, and hopefully Milwaukee can help do that for him. I'm excited to see what he does. And with that, as always, stay safe out there.